You're listening to SpyGlass24, first broadcast on the 15th of November, 2014. Hi, this is your host, Bill Wright, for SpyGlass24. Today we're going to be talking about an area of Green Bay, Wisconsin, known as Broadway. It has a long and storied past, and we will gain some insight from a retired police officer named Glen Caves. You will see some very huge changes that have occurred in this region, and we are excited to have Glenn with us today.
Okay, this is Bill Wright for News Story. It's the 17th of October, approximately 12:16 p.m. And I've got with me Glen Caves, a police officer from Green Bay, retired. Go ahead and have you state your name and experience and stuff like that for your experiences here in Green Bay.
Glen Caves. I came to Green Bay in 1981, where I was employed by the city of Green Bay. I worked for the police department a couple of years as a cadet and then promoted to officer. And then I retired in 2008. My primary duties were patrol for most of that. The last 5 years I worked in the school system as a school resource officer. My early days in patrol, from the years about 86 to 92, I worked the Broadway area.
Can you describe a typical scene from those earliest years for Broadway in the city of Green Bay?
Broadway was considered the rough part of town. I was told at one time there were 33 bars on Broadway, which is a very high concentration of bars compared to other businesses. There was a high crime area. There were drugs, a lot of drugs, and some of the bars were known for drugs. A lot of fighting, a lot of domestic type disturbances. In those days, there were actually some biker gangs that would frequent the Broadway area and some of the bars there.
What do you think was the biggest problem in the area? Was it the fighting, or was it the illegal elements like the motorcycle gangs, or?
I think it was a combination of everything. It was just kind of a magnet for people to come to drink, to look for drugs. There was some prostitution. There was some, I guess you'd call them sex shops. There was a place called Angie's Sex Clinic. There was a place called Cheyenne Social Club, which called itself a gentleman's club, but it was basically a front for prostitution, which was eventually closed down by the state. There were 3 or 4 adult bookstores.
What do you think contributed to that area being like that? Why was it like that in that area?
I think it was just kind of accepted by the population and by the government as just, it was Broadway, and that was the place where everybody knew it was a bad area of town, but it was kind of like, well, that's where they are, and they kind of stay concentrated in that area.
Now, you say concentrated. Does that mean it was stuck to a certain portion of Broadway, or was it through the entire district, through that entire street?
It was mostly the 1 and 2, 300 blocks of North and South Broadway. Broadway runs quite a length of the city, but it was a portion of the downtown Green Bay area.
Okay. And how do you think it's improved over the years compared to when you first started as a police officer?
It's improved greatly. It started making improvements in the 90s, mid-90s. I think they formed a Broadway improvement group or committee or something. I'm not sure what it's called, but it started turning the corner and making a lot of changes. The dirty bookstores were gone. The sex stores or clubs were gone. A lot of the bars were made to clean up. Also, a lot of them started moving out. Other businesses started coming in. Better restaurants, bookstores, clothing stores, things like that started moving in, and the other illegal businesses started moving out.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. Thanks for being a part of our program. And any final words on Broadway or the city of Green Bay?
Back at the time, being a young police officer, it was kind of the place to be. We'd walk the beat, and it was exciting. There was a lot of action. So back in the day, it was, as an officer, it was a fun place to work, although we really didn't want it.
All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, as you can pick up from Glenn's story, there's been some major changes in this area for the city, a great improvement. I'd like to thank you for listening to our program. Have a great day.